This episode is brought to you by marketing consulting firm The Bonafide Lyrics and Marketing, LLC, where creativity meets business. You can check us out at www.theblm.com for more information on how we help local artists and creatives maximize their business presence. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
It's the All Love, No Fear podcast.
Hey.
It's the All Love, No Fear podcast.
Hey.
Check us out. It's the All Love, Oh, No Fear podcast. All Love, Oh, No Fear podcast.
Hey.
Hey.
What up? We are the All Love, No Fear podcast. No fear. All love,
Facts.
no fear podcast. All love, no fear. All love, no fear podcast.
Yeah. We in here. Yeah, we here to pod. Yeah, we here to do our thing, and then we gonna turn it all around. I said, okay, let's get to the pod. Cause I am sleepy. I need a nap. This rain ain't helping, but we gonna do it all right.
Yeah. Anytime it's raining outside, you just be tired.
I'm just trying to be in the bed. Honestly, I'm not trying to do nothing else. I'm just trying to be in bed.
Tired.
As soon as you press end, bed covers, it's going down.
All right, but shout out to everybody. Shout out to people out in Patreon land. We appreciate y'all. I know we never shout you out to like halfway through the episode.
Right, but we trying to do better. We trying to turn over a new leaf. Trying to make some good decisions.
Patreon who support us.
We appreciate y'all.
Yes, it's a big thing for us to do, and we're happy for every $3 supporter we have.
Yes, and we got some that ain't just $3 supporters, but we love all our supporters. Either way.
Yes.
Either way.
Yes, we do. With that in mind, how are you doing today?
Besides sleepy, I am otherwise good. I ate, so that's productive. I watched church, also productive. Shout out to my good sis Tiffany for leading worship at our church today. She did a great job. It was beautiful. They did great. Loved it. So yeah, that was about it for today. So that's about all. That's about all that happened. I'm just looking forward to going to sleep. That's really it. How about you?
I'm all right. I'm okay. Grinding but good.
All right.
Just trying to do what I can.
See, I've been getting to the money. Everybody, man.
I want the money. I want the money to get to me. I want them to meet me halfway with the money.
You want them to meet you halfway with the money? I feel like you know what?
Meet me with the money too. Like I'm coming to you, but also if you come this way, it might make it a little easier.
Is that so?
If the money comes towards me, also. I don't want to have coming towards you and chasing you. I want you to come to me. It'd be great.
Is that
be a lot easier?
Is that how you feel?
A little bit. FYI, my name is Mark Metapoetic Bennett, and this is your host,
KB Kristen Bennett. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? We're so glad. This is season 4, episode 10. I know we took a break last week, and then we took a break on Mother's Day for May, but last week was crazy. We had a wedding to go to, and we were like, all right, we're gonna record another time. And
we sure were. We had no intention of not recording.
We were like, we're gonna record on Monday, and then we were not able to because we were tired.
Yep, we could not.
Tired. We came in from a flight from Georgia. It was a hectic weekend. So we apologize for last week, but we are here now. We're here.
Yes, we are.
If you have any questions for us, please come to us on our website, alllovenofearpcast.com, or on our email us at alllovenofearpcast@gmail.com. We are here for you.
Word.
Right. But we're going to go right into our little icebreaker situation, in which I might still do some. I still haven't figured out the last one, but I have an idea.
Oh my gosh,
it's a long story.
I'm not really sure why.
Love it or lose it.
Hey, love it or lose it. Hey, love it or lose it. Hey, love it or lose it. Hey,
focus.
What?
Gotta be on point. Come on.
I was. I don't understand why I'm being spoken to this way. I wasn't given what it was supposed to give.
No, you were not. You were delayed on beat. Your beat
in my head, I was on beat.
You were not on beat.
I was not.
The beat was not there. The beat
I'm very sorry.
You did not catch the beat.
I'm sorry.
Listen, we are recording the podcast. You can't play sounds. You can't play sounds.
Wait, hold on. I just want to play this in your honor. I was trying to find it.
You trying to get kicked off of YouTube? What you trying to do?
Everybody mad. Hey. Anyway.
That's fine.
Yeah. Love it or lose it. What do you got?
So Love It or Lose It, FYI, is usually our icebreaker segment where one person usually has 4 choices, and you have to choose one to throw away. I don't want nothing to do with it. Get it out of here. And one to hold on to, never let go. And you have to choose one to throw away. You have to choose one to love, even though you might hate all of them or love all of them.
All right, are you back on that?
I'm just giving you the scenario of what's going on. Scenario. Great. So I'm
gonna end up quitting this podcast early because I can't.
You cannot.
I can do whatever I want for the first thing.
All right.
Second of all,
the category for this week are beach activities.
Beach activities. Okay.
Beach activities, and I guess I feel like we haven't been to that many beaches because you don't support New York beaches.
Who does?
The point I'm making is we haven't been to many beaches, so it's hard.
Do you?
Can you move on?
I'm just asking questions.
I just grew up.
I need to know who I married. If you support New York beaches, we have to have some conversations. Okay.
I'm just saying.
I need to get a counselor on board. Do I need to call a counselor because you support New York beaches?
I'm less disgusted by New York beaches because I grew up here.
I can't imagine why.
Because I grew up here.
And you didn't want better for yourself, obviously. You see that dirty green water and you say, look, Panda, that is nice. We want to go in there and bathe. That's what you say.
I grew up here, so I'm not as disgusted as you are about the beaches out here.
But now that you've seen the light and you know that this is trash, what I'm unclear about what you're still supporting.
Got it.
Because I understand what you didn't know better. I get it. But now that you know better, now that you've seen
but it's
water
also,
where you can see your feet when you put your feet in it.
But it's
I'm just trying to understand.
I don't have to go on a plane to go to a beach. I feel like that makes sense to me.
I mean, I didn't choose New York, okay? I didn't choose this. Okay.
The beach activities that I have.
But you could go elsewhere and do better.
We can keep going. Can you? I'm trying to find a 4th activity that makes sense. So 3 activities I have available here are building sandcastles, beach volleyball.
We build sandcastles.
Exercise. And what other beach activity is there that I can put down here? Oh, actually, maybe collecting seashells.
Sure.
Yeah, collecting seashells is an activity.
Every promise don't work out that way. So you said building sandcastles, making seashells,
collecting seashells, beach volleyball, and exercise.
Beach volleyball.
That exercise includes jogging, running, whatever you wish.
Well, the lose for me is going to be the exercise on the beach. I'll tell you right now.
Can you? I'm trying to find something. I knew you were going to say that.
Have you ever tried to run on sand before?
I know it's trash. And
that's
what I was trying to find something.
Worst.
I was like, I don't know. I don't want to put exercise, but I don't know what else.
It seems like a good idea in theory.
Is there another activity?
No. We're sticking to that. It seems like a good idea in theory.
I knew you were so quick to be like exercise,
but not I'm not anti-exercise. I don't have a problem with exercise. I'm actually fine with exercise.
I know, but I know how hard it is to exercise on
running
sand.
On sand or doing any type of exercise on sand, breath. It is hard.
Yes.
Hard. I'm not really clear on why. I'm not clear on the science on why. I just know that it is hard. I have tried to run on sand before. I have tried to do, aerobics on sand before. And truthfully, it has been the ghetto. 0 out of 10 stars. Would not recommend. Poor Yelp review. Just, it's all bad. I would not suggest it for anyone.
And it's just a bad comparison to the rest.
I mean, your leg muscles are probably going to get some great toning as a result. But
I feel like I got to find something else.
Other than that, no.
I got to find something else.
No, we're moving on.
No, the reason why, because the other 3 are fun.
Someone thinks jogging on the beach is fun. I'm not the someone.
Okay.
It's not me. Maybe you think it's fun because you also think New York beaches are slightly acceptable. So maybe you think jogging on the beach is fun.
We're gonna move on. Mine loses some exercise also because it's just not as fun as the rest as I try to put it together. Yeah, it's like I appreciate the jogging because I feel like you're out for less time because you get more work for for the small things you do. Mm-hmm. Like jogging 5 minutes on the beach is way more than jogging 5 minutes on the road. It's way more exercise.
Yeah,
it's way more exercise.
Sorry,
what's happening?
I don't know. Things keep popping up with sound. I'm sorry. Stop yelling at me. It hurts my feelings.
But yeah, I think that is it's just I go to the beach to do nothing. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is. I go to the beach to do the least amount of activities. But if I'm going to do activities, it won't be exercise.
That's fine. That's fine.
But yeah. So what did you love it?
You said sandcastles, seashells, and
beach volleyball.
Beach volleyball. I'm thinking. A part of me wants to say beach volleyball because it looks like a ton of fun, but I feel like beach volleyball is semi in the same vein as exercising or jogging on the beach because it requires
it's more smoother. It's usually like designated area. It's not usually like they usually smooth it out a little bit.
Yeah, but I think collecting seashells is probably going to be.
I know you're gonna use it.
My favorite. Because I think seashells are beautiful.
Yes.
And there's so many different variations of them. You can never really ever find two of the same. So it's super fun. So I would probably say seashells.
Yeah.
Would be mine.
And mine, love it, will be building sandcastles.
I'm not skilled at that at all, which is why I didn't choose it.
I enjoy just building things in general. You need a lot of water to make it happen. You can't build sandcastles without water. It's very important. It's a very important ingredient that hopefully people understand you need.
I'm telling you, it's physics and mechanics to this.
It's not, yeah, but it's you have to have water and you need a pail just to pack things in, so you have stiff sand. Because sand when it's wet and packed in, it works. The only problem is sometimes sand has other things hidden inside of it.
Yeah.
That's the only negative sometimes with sandcastles. It'd be things that you trying to pick up some sand, oh, that was glass, or that was a seashell that was kind of sharp.
Yeah. I've definitely cut my feet on the seashell
or a sand crab.
Yeah, nobody has time for that either.
So I understand that, but I still, even with all those things, I think I do enjoy building sandcastles the most. Any other questions about this?
Nah.
This is the quickest level lose we've ever had.
Well, praise God. Praise God. We thank God.
Yeah.
For expediency.
All right. So
as we record this podcast. Ha!
So that was love it.
Or lose it. Hey, love it. Or lose it. Hey, love it. Or lose it. Hey, love it. Or lose it. Hey. Hey.
Lose it.
Hey, yeah.
Word. Let's get right into the main topic. Ding.
Ding, ding, ding. So, this is probably gonna be a quick one too, but we'll see. So yeah, the kids are outside, and by the kids I mean the people that are younger than us. So the Gen Zers or the later millennials are outside doing weird things. We've all seen it on the internet. One of the things that they seem to be big proponents of is the women proposing to the young men. So there was a video that went viral this past week where a young lady proposed to a young man. And, the Twitter sphere was ablaze with commentary about this young lady proposing to this young man. And a friend of mine sent it to me, and we were kind of talking about it back and forth. And I was like, let's have a conversation about this, because I feel like I've seen kind of two sides of the conversation. Like, one side is, nah, women shouldn't be doing stuff like that. Men are the ones who need to take charge, and if they want to get married, they know what they need to do, blah, 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 blah. And then the other side is, well, we talk about women's equality and we talk about feminism and blah, 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 blah. So why shouldn't a woman be able to propose to a man if that's what she wants? Yada, yada, yada. And then you've got the people kind of like, oh, well, if you proposing to a man, you must be desperate. He don't really want to marry you, but now you pushing him into a corner, etc. So I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit and kind of see where our heads are regarding this hopefully not new phenomenon of women proposing to men, because that is not a thing I'm trying to see.
Well,
personally, but we can discuss further.
Yeah, the reality is, it doesn't concern anybody else.
No, it doesn't.
The reality
It doesn't.
If she proposes and he accepts it and he has no problem with it, then she's right.
Then she's what?
Then she's right.
She's right?
Yes.
Did you see that show? What was that show we were watching?
That is the end.
What was that show me and you were watching? Well, not me and you. Oh Lord, what is it? It used to come on after Married at First Sight. Oh my gosh. Marrying Millions. And there was a couple on there. It was like an older white woman and a younger white guy. I don't know if you remember the guy. He didn't have no job. He wasn't doing nothing. And she proposed to him, and like he was kind of like, I don't know if he was as much upset as his mother was upset.
If he's not upset and he doesn't take it a certain way, then she's right.
I don't.
It's only odd for us outside of the relationship.
I don't know.
It's only odd for us because we're not in the relationship. It's only wrong.
I'm not saying it's wrong. Wrong is strong.
Yeah, wrong is strong. It's only odd if the woman does that to a guy, and the guy doesn't feel like that's acceptable, meaning that the woman doesn't know that the guy doesn't think it's acceptable, which means it's something else.
Right.
And then she does that, or she does that to kind of trick a guy. Like that is a different conversation.
Trick a guy.
Or like, because like I'm saying that based off of what people were saying about it. Because people were saying like, oh, a woman's doing that because it makes a guy feel weird for doing it. So, or if a guy feels like he's trapped when he does it.
Mm-hmm.
But if they are together, they don't feel any kind of way about whoever proposes. They don't feel some kind of way about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. They're just like, we're just happy to be engaged. They're not thinking about who proposes to who and everything like that. They're just like, great. They're not thinking that much into it. Then it's fine. I think it becomes a concern if one side is a lot more progressive in that sense than the other. Right. And then the spouse feels some kind of way about it or something like that, and then it becomes a different conversation. Because if someone does that to one person, the other person feels kind of way, like, oh, I didn't want it to be that way, then the conversation happens. Then of course it's a different conversation because they both don't agree how it's supposed to go. Mm-hmm. Right. But if they both agree, then it's fine.
I guess for me, like in theory, yes, that's we would hope that the guy would be like, it wouldn't matter to him. It would be okay, whatever the case is. But like, there's something, I don't know if it's just and I'm all for female empowerment and I'm all for all of that. But I just kind of feel like there are some things that I feel like in the relationship, if this is a heterosexual relationship, the man should do. Like
for you, and you feel as if for you, we wouldn't be able to, in a situation with me and you, when you would do that, because you would never do that.
I wouldn't.
Correct. Because I would never. That is your feelings about the whole thing, right? And move that way. But your feelings is not your else's feelings. And like,
but what I'm trying to understand, I guess, I always wonder in those situations, like, is the guy, like, what's the dynamic of that relationship? Is the guy truly cool with the woman proposing to him?
It's possible.
Like, I can't imagine. Like, I can't imagine doing that. Like, to me, I'm just like, nah.
And like I said, this is for you. Like I said, it always depends on how it's taken. Now, what happens many times is like the guy might be cool with it, and then people around him might make him feel as if that is wrong,
right?
And then he might change. He might feel some kind of way after, but even that's other people putting their input into their relationship,
right? But I
because like everybody doesn't feel the same way about it. Everybody doesn't. With evidence that it's been happening for a while. I
guess. I mean, I don't know any guy. There's no guy I know.
It's just a societal thing,
right? Like, I'm just like, I guess in my experience, I don't know any, or to my knowledge, I don't know any guy who would have been okay with his girl proposing to him. I know some, you know, yourself included, very, you know, open-minded progressive guys, but I still feel like there is something about you that would have been like, I want to do this. I want to carry out the situation in this way. And so it's just like, I guess it's hard for me to, based on my own personal experiences, imagine a guy being okay with something like that. And I guess another part of it too for me is that,
and also this is assuming that they've never had a conversation before.
But like, I just can't imagine why a guy would be like, yeah, I'm okay with you getting down on your knee and proposing to me. I can't imagine. Like, I just don't understand. And maybe
it's just different ways.
Maybe it's ignorance on my part, and that's completely fine.
It's like I realize that we sometimes we all have a certain block.
Yeah, like I'm just like, I don't
like some people we're progressive up to a point. Like we're progressive. There's something is just like it's like a block, and I think that's your block.
Yeah,
your block is that. Your block is like, I don't know. This doesn't make any sense.
Like when my friend sent it to me, I was like, I would rather eat my own poop than propose to a man.
Yeah, but like
it's just not one of the things I'm getting ready to do.
It's very possible. Like they've had conversations before, and she was like, I would like to do it this time. And
sure.
And he was like, okay. Because the reality is like he might be like, all right, I don't have to go through the stress of doing it. You can do it. It's cool.
But to me, I feel like that just. So what does he do?
What do you mean? What does he do?
What does he do? Like, if she's the one proposing, and women normally are the ones who are like the primary wedding planners, like, what is he doing?
What if he's the primary wedding planner?
What if he's not?
But you're like,
to me, it just feels like if she's the one doing the proposing, then she is the one that's guiding the direction of this relationship, and he's just kind of there following whatever she wants to do.
That's not what that means.
Huh?
That's not what that means.
That's how it looked to me.
Well, yeah, from the outside in.
To me, that's how it looks.
Think about it. That's based off of your perception of how you believe things should go.
I'm just hard pressed to believe that he let her propose to him in front of a bunch of people or whatever. They are now engaged, and he is now suddenly an active planner of the wedding or
it's
in the
possible.
Relationship. It's possible, but I just don't think that's what's happening.
Based off of what?
It's like you said.
I want us to delve deep into why do you feel this way, and that's where I'm kind of going. I'm telling you're I understand you're creating a perception of somebody you have no idea.
I guess my perception of
you're creating a whole scenario from somebody and you have no idea who they are.
I'm not creating a scenario. I am literally just looking at it and saying, this is how I would take this.
Correct.
If this were me.
I got that.
I guess for me, I am very much a person who believes that in the scope of heterosexual relationships, we all have roles to play. And I'm not saying like women cook, women clean, men go to work. Like, I'm not saying that. We all have our strengths, our whatever. We work however we work.
Correct.
But I do feel like there are certain things when it comes to the progression of the relationship that need to be initiated by the man. I feel like as a woman, I can make it clear what my expectations, aspirations, goals, whatever for the relationship are. But I ultimately feel like if the idea is that the man in the relationship is the leader of the relationship, why would he not be in charge of leading the relationship through the various levels, from boyfriend, girlfriend to fiance to married, whatever the case would be? Why would I not expect that is my whole thing. And I mean, I guess it maybe if people don't have that mindset about the man being the leader and then being equal partners and whatever the case is, then I suppose that's cool to a certain degree.
So there's multiple things that we that I guess we'll address. Number one, yes, what you're saying is true. They might not have that mindset,
right,
of one person being the leader of a relationship. They might have very believe that we all are together on the same thing. Each role can be played by either person. Mm-hmm. Right. Another part, they could still feel like the man leading the relationship, but their perception of what that looks like is just different from you.
What is if like what would he be leading in? Give me some examples.
He was leading in everything else, but not proposing one. Like, this is just one thing. Doesn't mean that he's not doing everything else. This is one thing. That is the public one thing. That's the only thing we're going by. We're not going by based off of what happened before the relationship. We're just going based off of this.
To me,
I understand how it looks. I understand with the view.
Like,
but
it looks passive.
Correct.
Of him.
Perception.
Yeah.
I understand the perception, yes. But I just want to, I guess my goal is I'm always trying to look outside of what perception, because my perception is based off of my norms. Mm-hmm. It's based off of what I've always seen. Mm-hmm. It's based off of how I feel, based off of things I've seen. But perception can always be shattered. Perception is based off of my views and what things I've done, and based off of my relationship with you. Mm-hmm. Right? Their perception is based off their relationship with themselves. Right? Mm-hmm. Their relationship with each other and how they operate and everything. They probably operate a certain way where, like, he might take, like, just an example, he might take that as the woman being submissive to him.
Take her proposing?
Yes.
How?
Because she's on one knee to him and asking, "Can I be with you?" He might take it that way. I'm just giving a perception. I understand how because that's technically what how men feel proposing is in the first place. Proposing is we're going to humble ourselves and say, "I offer my heart to you." Mm-hmm. So and so the other way around is basically saying, the man, I'm not doing that. The woman's doing that to me. So it's not a state of you're coming from a state of humility when you're on one knee. Mm-hmm. So like I said, the reality is I don't know if that means that the woman is leading.
She's leading the relationship to the next stage, and I don't think that. I don't think there's necessarily you're something wrong with it, but I don't feel like that's something that she should do. But again, people have
what if he requested it that way?
That she proposed?
Yes.
What would be the reason?
I just said it because I want to say, like, you're saying I want you to say you offer your heart to me. It could have been something that happened before, where like there's a lot of reasons. Something could have happened where it was like, all right, I'm not, like, he might have tried before, And he was like, I'm not doing it for you again. If you want to be with me, you got to propose to me. There's a lot of things that could have happened. There's a lot of reasons why it can get to that point.
That just sounds very toxic and like they should break up. But okay.
That's all perception.
Okay.
There's a lot of reasons why it might happen outside of he's not being a leader in a relationship, or like she's leading the whole. Like there's a lot of things outside of that.
No,
of course, we're just saying it's possible, but like there's a lot of other factors outside of that.
None of them counter the fact that to me it looks whack.
No, it's like to your perception, it's going to. Yeah, there's nothing that's going to change your perception.
Right,
of that
it looks whack because it looks like the woman is like desperate and or trying to manipulate the man into doing something that he might not necessarily be ready to do. Because if he says, like, in that situation, one of two things is going to happen. He's either going to say yes to not embarrass her,
which happens the other way around, but go ahead.
Or he's going to say, if he says no, he's now the bad guy who doesn't appreciate this woman.
That's the same thing both ways. Right?
That's doing. But I feel like we're a little bit more understanding if a woman says no.
Why socially? Why? Well, it depends on who.
Like,
who you're talking about.
Are there people who are like, oh my God, I can't believe she embarrassed him. Da 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 da.
But that's still norms, though. That's still norms and like how we're socially constructed. That doesn't mean that it's the same feeling in the relationship. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, like I understand outside, yeah, we feel that way, but in the relationship, a no is still a no. It's still the same way.
Yeah. I just don't.
Like if you proposed and I said no, you would be hurt. If I proposed and you said no, I would be hurt. Like
yes,
it's not. It's like you're talking about outside forces. I'm talking about those two.
Right. But I don't know. I just kind of, and like the look on the guy's face was kind of like, okay, like, so I don't know if I buy into they had a discussion, whatever. It to me, my feeling is like it happens because people like say, okay, I'm just gonna take the situation into my own hands. I'm going to handle this situation in the way that I see fit, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's okay. And I guess that you know, that
is a perception.
It's a choice.
That might be one reason, but it might be, but it might not be the reason.
Yeah, I personally would not do anything.
And the fact is, guys do that also. So it's like it's like I'm not going to give it to them just because it's a woman, because guys do the same thing.
Do what?
Were proposed, even though like just to trap, like hopefully she'll be embarrassed and just say yes.
Yeah, I know.
So it's
and I don't think either side is right when they do that.
Correct, but I don't want to say just because a woman's doing it that she's doing it when guys do the same thing.
No, I agree. I agree.
If that happens, that's just because the dynamic relationship is just toxic in general.
Right,
it has nothing to do with a guy or a woman doing it.
Right, I agree.
It's a toxic relationship.
Right.
So I'd rather get away from this scenario and trying to just talk about the scenario in general, because like that that scenario might be toxic, but there might be a lot of situations when it's not. Yeah,
and like this was the
there's a lot of proposals that aren't recorded.
Agreed.
Let's go with that also.
Agreed. I just feel like, you know, my traditionalist behind when it comes to that would never.
Yeah, I know.
Would never.
And being your spouse would know that and would never request that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand. So
even if I felt that way, I wouldn't just never request it because I would know my spouse.
Right.
But like you should know your spouse. Like some spouses are fine with it, some spouses are not.
Yeah, and like people were with the inspiration for this, people were trying to make it like it's a black women like issue because
as they do everything.
You know, there's a narrative that black women get married at like a lesser rate than every other group of women in this country, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, no, people do this all the time. Like I've seen videos of white women doing it. Like, yeah. And either way, I'm just like, sis, if you don't get up off that floor, if you don't get up, it's always the perception of the black woman being aggressive. No, and it's just like no,
and that's more the reason why like I'm not bound to do that just because like just assume that she's being aggressive. Like I said, they could have had an understanding, or it could be a lot of there's a lot of reasons behind it, and like I don't think
all of them end with nope for me, but yes,
but there's a lot of reasons behind it. Not all of them mean that the man isn't leading the relationship. Not all of them mean like there's a lot of things that there's a lot of factors behind it.
So let me ask you a question: in your circle of people, of friends,
that is which circle? Because you know my circles.
Your circle of friends who are currently married. Okay. Do you think that what do you think the perception would have been had I proposed to you and you were like, all right, cool?
Knowing that circle, they would have conversations with me.
And
but you know what?
Yes. Yes. But I'm just saying
But I'm also not a person who cares what other people think.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, amongst men, like, I don't feel like generally, like, men kind of look at that like, oh yeah, that's what's up. Like
well, once again, that's not a very general.
But I don't know all men. I'm making very general statements here.
Like it depends on the group of friends. That's what I said. What circle you're talking about? It depends on what circle you're talking about.
Yes.
Depends on the circle. It might not be a big issue.
Okay. So what? I guess which of your circles do you think would not have a big issue?
Probably like the more circle of friends from like Hampton.
Okay. Gotcha. And then my whole thing was just in my head, I feel like if as a woman you've come to the point where you're like legitimately considering proposing to a man, like I feel like you got to take a step back and figure out what's happening in your life, because
you just create a whole scenario again.
I'm not creating a scenario. She proposed to him.
No.
What scenario am I creating?
No, what I'm saying is I think you like, because the wording you use, it made it seem like if a woman proposes, it's like a last dish effort, right?
Well, I mean, look at Chrissy and Jim Jones, for example, when they were on Love and Hip Hop. She kept talking about getting married, and Jim was kind of like, blah, 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 blah. And so I think at the end of the first or second season, she got down on her knees and proposed to him. He accepted. And then they've spent the last, 10 years going back and forth about like, are we ready? Are we not ready?
That's also Chrissy and Jim Jones.
Right, but what I'm saying is...
It's a bad example.
What I'm saying... It's not a bad example.
When I say a bad example, meaning
she basically...
It's still one person.
She basically made herself the butt of jokes.
Okay.
For a decade plus. And she's still not married to this guy. And so it's like... What? To me, I just feel like... If a guy wants to marry you, he will. If you're at the point in the relationship where you feel like you as the woman have to go to the measure of proposing, you really need to take a step back and figure out what's going on outside of whatever alleged conversation you may or may not have had. Like, I just feel like many times it comes from a place of, I want what I want, and I'm going to take matters into my own hands.
I won't say many times, but that time might have been.
It's more than that, but okay. I appreciate your optimism.
I don't like it. It's hard for me to just create that measure based off of that. Like I said, there's many times like that's just a lot of people might have unproductive marriages.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. Regardless of who does what. Mm-hmm. A lot of people propose and there's a long engagement, regardless of who proposes. Mm-hmm. Right. That does not. I think I don't want to separate those two. Meaning, like, if Jim Jones proposed or she proposed, it might have been the same thing because of their relationship. That's my point. Because of how it played out.
No.
I'm just saying it's possible. I'm not saying I don't know. I'm saying it's possible that it's happened because we've seen that be possible many times. It's possible it was not, but it's possible because it's happened many times. It's happened many times where a guy would propose just to hold somebody there, and then they'll wait a long time for the actual marriage. A lot of just to hold the person where they are. Like, I just want you to stay. I want you to stay around, so I will propose so you stay around. Same thing.
Do that.
Correct. Same thing. A woman might do the same thing. I'll propose to hold you so you stay around. Flip side.
Seems dramatic, but
both parties might do it. Flip side. They for a more healthy version of that would be, they both had conversations about marriage and everything like that. Might have been a conversation where a woman was like, "Hey, you know what? I would like to propose," and the guy would say yes or no to that, and then they would move forward with it. That doesn't seem weird to me if they have decided together that that's
does Jim Jones seem like the type of dude that had a conversation with her and said it's okay if you propose?
Get away from Jim Jones.
I'm asking you a question. I brought up that specific example. I'm asking, do you think Jim Jones and Chrissy had a conversation and Jim Jones said, I would be okay with you proposing to me?
Correct. Chrissy was incorrect and wrong in how she did it because she did not consult him first.
And what I'm saying is, I don't believe the level of optimism you have about these pre-conversations happening, but I appreciate that you have the optimism. I just don't believe it.
What do you mean?
Again, I don't know all men. I haven't met all men, but I am hard pressed to believe.
We had a conversation about marriage before? Am I correct?
I don't know where this is going.
What conversation is like if it is? I feel like it's always.
Are you talking about me and you specifically having a conversation?
Yes.
And what in what context?
This is what I'm making. I think every a good start before you even get to actual getting on the knee and proposing is you've had the conversation before about maybe getting married, and you I feel as if you should know that the person is going to say yes before you even propose.
Agreed.
You have that conversation. So meaning you've had this conversation about marriage and you kind of have an idea of how the person feels about it.
Okay.
So if you've had this conversation, and this is in a healthy situation, you had this conversation, you kind of have a feeling about how each person feels. That's why I say I want to get away from that one, because they haven't had the conversation at all.
But the whole point I'm trying to make is, even if they did have that conversation about, yes, we desire to get married.
No, they have the conversation, because having the conversation about get married, like if based off what you're saying, that Jim Jones does not like the fact that she proposed to him, she didn't know that is a big flag. She should know that about the person you're talking to.
Right. But what I'm trying to say is, even if you've had the conversation, you agree that you want to get married at some point, I still personally don't feel like it's on the woman to now initiate that process.
No, I
because
got
people,
it.
like, to me, I feel like as a woman, I have more to lose if a marriage collapses. So I feel like I want the person who is supposed to be entering into this with me to be the one who initiates that, as a show to me.
Correct. That
they have the same level of investment in this that I do.
Correct. And you should do that. And that's what you did with me. And that's fine. The way you feel is not how everybody feels.
Yes, I understand that. I'm just saying I
want to fully separate how you feel, because how you feel is valid. You should feel that way, and you should operate how you feel. Not everybody feels that way.
I understand. It's just something I can't wrap my mind around, because I would just never do that.
You have a block.
I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. Congrats to the people who are engaged. I hope they make it down the aisle and all that jazz. I could never, and I would, my Avery will never. I will have to beat her up.
You can't beat up.
I can do whatever I want, first of all. And what I'm not going to do is raise my baby to be proposing to no Negro, okay? It's absolutely not what I'm going to do, okay?
They both agree.
I'm going to have a talk with that young man because, sir,
they both have agreed.
I don't care what they both agree on. I don't care what they both on the same page on. He's doing the proposing, and that's the story. Okay?
That's not how it works.
Mark, are you going to back me up on this or not?
I'm not.
Fine. I will just have to bulldoze it myself, and that's fine. You're okay with your daughter proposing to a Negro? Is that what you're saying to me? That's fine with you?
With this broad brush thing.
It's not a broad brush thing. I'm talking about our child proposing to some random dusty Negro.
Why? Number one, why
he's dusty because he's letting her propose. That's why. That's why.
We don't know the process.
Well, I do know he's dusty. Story closed. Ended.
As the world gets more progressive, I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm going to strongly counsel my child against such behaviors. Okay. You can join me if you would like. That's up to you. What I know is that when I go to heaven, I want to know that I did my part.
That's the part you want to make sure you did.
Yes.
That's the thing.
I've done a lot of things, but this part here I want to highlight. PowerPoint present slide number 4. I counsel my daughter against proposing to Dusties. Okay. That's doing God's work in my opinion.
That's right.
So that's that's that on that. Okay. All right. Ladies, don't propose to these Negroes. Just don't do it. I don't care what conversation I have. Don't do it.
Okay.
0 out of 10 stars. Would not recommend. Don't do it. Y'all have choices, but just don't do it. Yeah.
You sure they have choices? Because
they have choices. I'm just saying that they shouldn't make the choice, but they have choices.
You sure?
People can do whatever they want. Whatever they want.
Except when you find out about it.
I might judge, honestly. I mean, I'll still support you. I'll still come to your wedding. I'll still get you a gift, but I might judge a little bit if I find out that you the one that proposed. But it's all right. It's all right. We all have our journey in this life.
You and your hard lines.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you have certain hard lines.
I really do.
Like, I'm just like, your hard lines are very interesting to me sometimes.
I don't know. I didn't make myself.
Like certain things you be like, hard line, no. I'm like, why is this the hard line? Why? All the things you're like, okay, progressive. Everything else you're like, hard line, no.
Nope.
I'm like,
I'm not with it. I'm not with it. And if I have any friends out there who the lady proposed to the man, I hope I didn't offend you. I hope I didn't upset you. You do you live your life. It's just not something I would do personally. But if you're cool, I'm cool. That's all. As for me in my house, though, we don't do that here. But you do you at your house.
So a woman can only propose if they're in a lesbian relationship. Every other time, no.
Pretty much, yeah. That's about it.
Okay.
That's the extent of women proposing right there.
Only lesbian relationships are the only thing you can propose with.
If you are a woman, yes, that is correct.
Okay, we're not.
But it's 2 women in the relationship. Who gonna propose? There's no man here. One of the 2 women can. It's totally fine. Anyways, moving on.
If you have any questions or any comments, please comments on our website, or you can send us emails with your comments, or you can get on our Discord if you are on our Patreon, and just come comment on these things.
Word, my guys.
Word
and gals.
People. Word.
All right, let us move on to our Haunted Spotlight. Yes, so this week's Artist Spotlight is a young man by the name of Sebastian Mikael. I found him on SoundCloud like 100 years ago. And I think he took down the song on SoundCloud that I initially found of him. But he came across my mind the other day, and I was like, I wonder if he's still making music. So he is now, I believe, 32, 33. He was born in Sweden, but grew up in, where did he grow up at? Boston. And he's been making music for like the last 13-14 years. He was signed to Slip and Slide Records, super random, but he was signed to Slip and Slide like back in 2013.
Take it to the house.
That's the way we take it to the house. Hey, those are some classics. Back in 2013 he had a song with him and Wale. It was actually pretty popular.
I'm sure that like they have other songs for Slip and Slide Records, but that is the only one I know.
Between the only other one I know is Nan Ho. That's the one with Trina and Trick Daddy. That's the only other one that I can say that I know. Also? Yeah, that's the only one I can say with certainty that I know.
I just call that Trick Daddy and
yeah.
I just call it Trick Daddy song.
That's fine.
The actual Slip and Slide song, that is the only one.
That's fine.
But that song has made a big impact on everybody, all the millennials, because everybody knows that song. Mm-hmm. It was a big impact.
Yeah, big impact. Yeah, he had a song with Wale called Last Night that came out back in like 2013 or 2014, I want to say. Then he kind of took a sabbatical from the music industry because he was like, you know, I didn't like the music that they were trying to get me to make. Like, it wasn't what I was into, which is, you know, typically what happens with, you know, a lot of artists that come into the music industry. Like, they have a particular sound, and then once they get a record deal, then the company wants to like kind of rebrand them and make them a different type of artist than what they initially were. And I guess he was like, nah, I'm not really with all that. So I'm going to head out, most respectfully. And he took a little break. He kind of insinuated in this interview that I read that he may have had some substance abuse struggles that he also needed to work out, but it seems like he's pulled himself together now and he's back to making music. He put out a 7-song EP in 2019. It's called I See You, You See Me, and it's literally the letter I, the letter C, the letter U, like it's literally written like that. So I looked at it for a little while, like, is it Iku? Oh, I see what he did there. So the song we're going to play from this EP from 2019 is called Time. I really like this guy's voice. I like his vibe. He's very, it's very jazzy, I think. And he has a remix of the song actually with Kirby, who we played as a featured artist before. So if you want to get into that, you certainly can. But, yeah, you should, check him out on social media. His, Instagram, he's active on there. Sebastian Mikael. I'm looking on his Instagram now. He has a nice little lady friend that looks like him. Don't they look like though? They give him like the biracial big hair tees. They looking like one another, but they seem very happy.
They're both light skinned. They look like each other. I don't know what looking like each other means. Like that, you're exaggerating a little bit with the looking like each other.
No,
they're just light skinned. That's all they are.
No,
they don't look like each other at all.
They're giving similar.
They don't look alike.
That's fine.
Look at their nose. They don't look alike.
Whatever. Anyways, they look very happy together. I think he's a great artist. Very, very talented. I just, you know, I hope that he gets the recognition he deserves.
You slightly think the whole light skin people look alike, but it's fine.
I do not think so. That's incorrect. That's untrue. So this is Time by Sebastian Mikael.
Okay.
Minus the slander from Mark.
Ain't she something? Sundress on with her hair in a braid. Something special. Our connection's more physical. Level 1, spiritual. And that's just how my heart is won. Just let my love fall, and love will fall on you. I feel like I got one that I can show mama. She counting that 12-inch rule, and we still be introduced. But I don't know wrong for, baby, just spread and receive my love. I can spend all day now if you want. I can take you places wanna come. I can spend all day until you down. Cause for you I got time. We ain't gotta have to see the sun. I got everything to turn you on. We can go all day until you down. Cause for you I got time. I'm in the mood, I need your love. Come a little closer, baby. To my phone, now the one she posts up in her phone. Now we get nasty, gone, but I gotta let you miss it. Spread more. Give a little push, be on the safe side. You know I'll be performing, I don't have stage fright. I give you head for me, for you in the morning. Breaking backs, beds, just how you want it. Let me get off the phone, swerving lanes like a pro. Open the door, nothing on, neighbors pee, give up a shot. Yeah, I'm nasty like that. Just how you like it, don't hold back. I can spend all day down if you want. I can take you places, wanna come. I can spend all day until you down. Cause for you I got time. We ain't gotta ever see the sun. Got everything to turn you on. We can go all day until you down. Cause for you I got time. I can spend all day down if you want. I can take you places, wanna come. I can spend all day until you down. Cause for you I got time. We ain't gotta ever see the sun. Got everything to turn you on. We can go all day until you're down. Cause for you I got time. Turn the lights on. I can take you places. Make it last long.
That was Sebastian Mikael for the song called Time.
Yes, he's popping. He's everything.
Yeah, it was cool. I'm rocking.
Same. I really wish I could find that song that I first heard of him from, but I literally cannot find it anywhere. I feel like once he got signed to his label, he took a lot of stuff off of what's it called? Off of his SoundCloud.
Oh, he take it off. That was.
Well, not him, but somebody made him take it off.
Yeah, record label was like, nah, son.
Nah, we can't have this out here. And the thing is, I can't remember what the name of the song was, so it's like I would have to go back and listen through every single thing to figure out what it was, and I just didn't have that kind of time. So
yeah,
I moved on with my life. But yes, check him out, Sebastian Mikael. He's got videos on the YouTubes. His stuff is on the streaming services. Check out his social media, like I said. Seems like a cool guy, really into music, just a real music purist, that kind of vibe. So yeah, let us move on to this week in random. So let's start off with this DMX album, Exodus, was released on the 28th in just a few weeks, I guess, after his untimely passing. If you saw any of his interviews prior to, and I still have to watch the one that they did on TV1, but prior to his death, he did talk about this album coming out and who he had on it and who he had done songs with, etc., etc. And with him passing, it was even more excitement surrounding the album coming out. I didn't get to it on the first day that it came out. I don't know what I was doing. I just never got around to it. But I finally gave it a whirl this morning. And I had seen some reviews on the internet kind of being like, and I was like, how bad could it be? And then I played the first song.
Yeah,
I understand what they're talking about.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's not
it didn't give what they said it was supposed to give.
Yeah, the production value is not as good as I feel like it could be.
Who picked that opening song as the starting song for the album?
Number one.
Who did this?
Number two.
Somebody did this.
The lyrics were fine. If you're looking for lyrics, of course they're good.
Right.
Because it's Locks, it's DMX, it's Jay-Z.
Right.
The lyrics are gonna be fine.
Yes.
So lyrics are fine. It's just the production value could be better.
Some of the songs sounded like they needed to be,
and they were dated.
Yeah, some of the songs sounded dated. They sounded like they needed to be mixed better. Because the levels, and I'm listening on my phone. I'm not adjusting the volume. What is playing on my phone is what's playing on my phone. And it's song 1 had a different volume level than song 2, which had a different volume level from song 3. And then it was like when you heard individual people coming in to do their parts, they had different levels. Like on the song with Jay-Z and Nas comes in mad low in comparison to how Jay-Z and DMX came in. And it's just like, but why? It just sounded like
it just wasn't mixed well.
It wasn't mixed well.
It's like, I'm not sure if they were like, after he passed, we're not touching it because like I'm not sure how involved DMX usually in the process. Like this is like I didn't say this before, but like this is my only caveat is if DMX is usually within the whole process usually, and in their mind they were like, I don't want to touch it after he passed. They should have. They should have, because it was a mix. It was a mix well. But if they feel like I didn't want to touch it after he passing, I just want to release it, that I can understand why it came out that way. But it should have been mixed well. Number one. Number two, I know a lot of the songs are old. Like that, the Jay-Z Nas DMX song was back in 2012, and if you listen to Jay-Z, it sounds like old Jay-Z. Yeah. And when I say old, of course, 2012 Jay-Z is not old Jay-Z, but it's older than. How like if you listen to him now, listen to him then, it's just a different.
You can hear the evolution of his abilities.
It sounds a lot different now. You can tell he made it a while ago. Yeah. And I think that it's just obvious. The way he sounds and everything like that, and like I said, certain songs were good. Like Locks still killed it. Nas still killed it. There was a song with Lil Wayne was good. He has a song with Usher. About his son. That was a good song. It was like a live performance, I guess, that was recorded with the prayer he did at the last. So like there's a lot of good things on there.
Right. It just
so it's just
combined together. It's
not really an album. Much
it wasn't cohesive.
It's like a compilation of songs.
Yeah.
It's like these are all the songs he had left. I'm gonna put it on the album.
Right.
And put it out there.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But like that's how it came out. Like, but they made it seem like it was like a full conceptual album. Right. In which that's
and I think that's what the disappointment was, is that the impression was that this was a full conceptual album, as you said, and the listening experience does not give that. Yeah. Additionally, another thing I realized is that I don't know if I ever want to hear another Swizz Beatz produced song again. I don't know. Like, I think something about
his sound is dated. I think
something about my ear has changed, and I don't think Swizz Beatz is trash.
No, he's not.
Swizz Beatz will forever be like bomb as far as I'm concerned, because he gave me Upgrade You. He gave me Get Me Body. Two very classic Beyonce songs.
He gave me DMX's second album.
He gave me DMX's second album. He gave me Tambourine. Like Swizz Beatz has definitely given us some memorable beats and memorable songs over the years.
But he does. His sound is very early 2000s.
Yes, and it was
90s. Like I don't know if his sound transitions well.
Right, and while DMX is a master at a Swizz Beatz beat, because Swizz Beatz beats are hard to wrap your head around because they're so busy. It's like it's 37 different things going on the Swizz Beatz beat, and DMX was masterful at making magic happen.
Correct.
With the noisiness of a Swizz Beatz beat. But I realize, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's age, if it's just I'm not used to hearing music like that anymore. I don't know what it is. But I just felt like there were some songs where I was like, I can't take this. Like whatever this beat is, it's like it's making me crazy, and I can't even listen to the rapping because the beat is just I just want less.
I realize that. And like I
just want less.
I'm not going to say my ear is age, because there's still some songs that I listen to in the early 90s and late.
Like I like an intricate
late 90s and early 2000s that I still really would, if I played on, I'm jamming to it. So it's not just I don't think it's just an age thing. It's just as we listen to more things, our ears become more refined to a certain sound. Like certain things just appeal to us more.
Yeah.
And that Swizz Beatz sound, I think the sound he had was just appealed to a certain time of hip hop. Yeah. It appealed to a certain time of hip hop, but I'm not sure if it's timeless. Yeah. With and it's not his whole sound. It's just like that sound when he used to be on like in the background with the track all the time, like that. Like it's very like active. Like he had a certain sound at a certain time.
Mm-hmm. It's
that whole sound when he was like trying to get that Oprah, like that whole like that I remember when that song came out, like that whole sound.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that sound is timeless,
right?
Because like during that time when he made that song, he had a certain sound that like he was everywhere and he had that sound. Like people wanted to get on this track because that was the sound at the time.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that sound is timeless.
Yeah.
I think that's my point.
Yeah. Like it and again,
I was trying to like articulate because like it's not bad. It's just at that time the sound was great because it was the sound of the time. Now it's just sounds dated. I don't know if that sound is timeless.
Yeah.
Because I know that I still like older sound because like put on a Heatmaker's beat. I'm still excited about Heatmaker's beats.
Right.
And they all like it's just I'm still excited about them.
Right.
And the Heatmaker's been making the same kind of beats since the 90s. I'm still like, yes, Heatmakers.
Right.
Soul samples.
That's fine.
Soul samples.
Not with this level of excitement, I can't.
But like so I'm still excited about. So it's just that timing of it is just I'm not sure if I'm excited about that at this time.
Yeah, like I want to like this album so bad, but it's just like you said, it feels like a playlist as opposed to a cohesive album, which we were talking about this morning. I was like, but the impression that I got from the interviews that DMX did prior to his death, this was an album that he was very heavily involved in and that was done. Correct. It wasn't like, oh, they pieced something together after he died. Like this was already like set up before he passed away. And when I think in March they had said that they were waiting for a release date, that was what they were waiting for, but essentially the album was done. So I don't know if they went back and did something after he passed or if this is what he died in approval of, but I was like, this thing, and I don't know if our expectations are too high because he's now deceased, and so we're like, he's gone now, so his next body of work needs to be like something amazing. I don't know if it's our expectations making things more challenging. Yeah. But like when I tell you, I turned the first song on and I was just like,
and you have to also remember,
okay,
we still
that's not how I should feel about this.
I think it might have been different also if we didn't have his music fresh in our mind. Like he just did verses.
Yeah.
So his old music is still fresh in our mind.
Right.
So like now we're freshly comparing apples to oranges.
Right. And he's had way better song openers on albums than this one. I was like, what?
His opening song is usually pretty good.
Is this?
Yeah.
Honey.
So it didn't seem like an opener.
Yeah, it was just like I said. I looked at my phone like, oh, did I press the right? Like, is this the starting song?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't open with this.
Yeah.
But I don't.
All I can say is it doesn't sound like it was finished, but
yeah. But you know, God bless. I hope his family is able to reap some benefit from the financial proceeds of this album, because I think I read earlier this week there's dispute about how much his estate is worth. I've heard less than $1 million. I've heard $50K. Like it seems to be unclear what his estate is or isn't worth. And he does have.
And you saw my comment about that, right?
What was your comment about that?
So
I didn't see it.
If it is true, I only understand it because DMX came off as somebody who wasn't trying to do too much. He
like that doesn't surprise me.
He doesn't do a lot of capital things.
Right.
Like
he didn't have a shoe line or a perfume line or a clothing line or.
I'm here to write music. I'm here to perform, and I go home.
Right.
That's what it seemed like he did.
Right.
And I think he did a lot for like.
And he did a few movies like back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
But like estate means what you invested in, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know if his investments were very high. I don't think he was an investing kind of person.
And then
estate means like investments, right?
And then in addition to like properties you own and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that includes his masters.
I don't know who owns them. I don't know if it's him or if it's somebody else.
I don't know if that includes that.
I don't know if it includes it either. And you know, he had a lot of financial responsibilities in terms of children. Mm-hmm. In terms of an ex-wife who I believe he was paying spousal support to.
And apparently supporting all the Rough Riders.
So. Yeah, supporting all the Rough Riders, keeping the family afloat. And, you know, not to, you know, throw dirt on a deceased person's name, but drugs aren't cheap. So, you know, paying for that, paying for rehab from that, none of that is cheap. That costs money. So
yeah, like I said, I'm not shocked because like I say, he was never the capitalist person,
right? Yeah,
he was never that person. So it kind of makes sense, and like he's like I said, he's kind of like the
and he wasn't actively making music for like when was it before this album? When was his last album? It had been some time.
It might have been, what was it, 2012? Let me see.
Yeah, it had been some years between albums and touring and so on and so forth.
I just looked at that actually.
Yeah.
His last album was
when? Look it up. Find the info. 2012. Yeah, so like that's like almost 10 years where I'm not saying he wasn't touring or working or whatever, but that's almost 10 years without new material to tour with. So, you know, that has to be factored into the conversation too. So, you know, best wishes to his family. Hopefully the proceeds from this new album will be helpful to them. I feel so bad for his fiance. Like, she just looks so sad. Like, she just looks like she could break down at any moment. And I just feel bad for her because she's like dealing with that. And their son has like health issues. Like, that's a lot. So just prayers up for her, prayers up for the kids, for the whole family. Moving on. Somebody else tagged me this week in a poem by somebody named Lady Sarkazym on Instagram. I think you got tagged in it too.
Yeah.
It was super dope. It was just about, you know, just Black women just embracing every part of themselves, whether they like having natural hair, froze, weaves, makeup, no makeup, just be all that. So look it up on Instagram. The young lady's name is Lady Sarkazym, and it's Lady and Sarcasm is spelled Sarkazym. Get into it. It'll bless you. A couple weeks ago, Mark and I were on here talking about the music business having some type of union so that artists could, you know, be represented properly and get their fair share or whatever. And I was on Instagram earlier today, and Kelly Price actually kind of brought up the idea of having some type of organization or union that really fights for artists. And so, long story short, what happened with her, Lyfe, Jennings, and a couple of other people were scheduled to perform at a show in Galveston, Texas. And what happened was
it at a church?
It wasn't at a church.
Okay.
It was like at a concert venue, you know, I can't think of what it's called, like a club type concert venue.
Got it.
And essentially, the way the deals are set up, according to Kelly, is once the promoter reaches out to book you for the show, they pay you 50% up front, and the other 50% of whatever your fee is due at the venue before the show starts, ideally on or before the sound check starts. So I guess what happened is, you know, they paid for her to fly there and for her hotel and, you know, whatever the case is. So she got there, she did the sound check. I guess she went back to her hotel, still having not received her money. So she's calling the guy for hours and hours and hours, not being able to reach him, the promoter. And she said she was trying to call Lyfe Jennings at one point to try to figure out like what was happening with him, like if he was experiencing the same issue, and she wasn't able to reach him. But then she said she finally got in touch with Lyfe Jennings, and he was also having issues reaching the guy. So I think when she recorded the first video I saw, it was basically like at the time that doors were opening for the show. She's like, yeah, so people are probably heading into the venue right now. As you can see, I'm still in my hotel, still, you know, fresh face, no makeup, whatever, because I have not received my contractually required money to go on and perform. And so she was just talking about, you know, like how unfair it is that, you know, promoters will do stuff like this to artists, because she's like, you know, I've lost 20 family members during this season of COVID and quarantine. Like, I could be home with my family. I could be doing something else, not in this hotel room where this guy is avoiding me and not picking up my phone calls and no one knows where he is, and he doesn't have my money. So I guess a couple of hours must have passed between when she recorded that video and the second one I saw, where I guess the guy finally got in contact with her. She had spoken with Lyfe Jennings, and he was like, yeah, the dude not reaching out to me either. And so she kind of explained what was happening on her end. And, you know, they kind of compared stories and figured out, hey, this guy may not really have the money to pay us, which is why he's avoiding us. So apparently the guy came to her hotel room and or tried to come to her hotel room and talked about, oh, you know, I know you're a woman of God, so, you know, can we pray about this situation, et cetera, et cetera. And Kelly Price was like, no, absolutely not. You knew what it was when I came down here. But when I got on this plane to come here, you had to have known that you didn't have the money to pay me. So you didn't feel like you need to bring anything up before I got on the plane and came here. And then when I'm trying to contact you and figure out like what's going on, because the understanding is you pay me the other 50% of my fee before I hit the stage, and you're not responding to me. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? So she goes on to say that she had shared with him, like, prior to her coming to Texas, that she had a grandmother who was, and I think the grandmother raised her partially or fully, I can't remember the full story, but her grandmother was, you know, transitioning essentially. And, you know, she had been informed by the medical professionals caring for the grandmother that her time was soon coming. So to, you know, try to get as much time in with her as she possibly could. So she shared that with the promoter, like, you know, just kind of like, you know, I'm going through quite a bit, etc. But, you know, whatever. Apparently the promoter went on stage at the event and told the people that the reason the show wasn't happening was because Kelly Price had a medical emergency with her grandmother, and so she had to leave. And Kelly was like, first of all, I know you're the person that told the audience that, because you're the only person that I gave that information to. Nobody else was told that. So you did that. And number two, why are you lying on my grandmother's name to cover the fact that you don't have the money to pay for us? And, you know, she just basically went on to say, you know, this is, you know, she's been in the business for 30 years. And, you know, this type of stuff like happens to artists all the time. And, you know, they often don't have a platform or a space to speak out about how many times these types of things happen with promoters and with shows. And she was just kind of like, you know, at the end of the day, like, I came here to do a job and get paid for it. And I'm out money now because my musical director is here, the drummer is here, the guitarist is here. They didn't even have the equipment I requested for them when we did the sound check. So she's just like, I made these people leave their families and potentially another source of income to come here. So now I have to pay them. You haven't even paid me what you owe me, but I now have to take money out of my pocket to pay these people because they left their homes and other potential opportunities to come do this. So now you've put me in a messed up position. So she's like, I'm going to find out all of y'all's information and find out how the patrons can get their money back because this guy stole from y'all. She's like, he had a packed house. He sold out tickets. How he don't have money to pay me and Lyfe Jennings? Like, I'm confused. I am perplexed, befuddled. And, you know, she was really hung up on the fact that A, he tried to call her about some prayer, and B, that he used her grandmother's name. He was like, my grandmother was a praying woman. And so you speaking on my grandmother's name and using her name to lie about you being a fraudulent individual, God's gonna get you. And she actually called him a lying sack of shit. And she was like, I know the saints gonna be mad, but I don't even care, because that's what he is. He's a piece of scum. How dare he? She was livid, but I completely understood where she was coming from. Like, bruh, you owe me, I don't know what Kelly Price's fee, but let's say Kelly Price's fee is 30 grand. You paid me 15. You owed me another 15, and you want to talk to me about prayer?
And have the equipment there.
Like what do we talk about? And she was like, honestly, I'm from Far Rockaway. Edgemere was about to come out. Forget Christian Kelly Price. Edgemere Kelly Price was getting ready to come out because you're playing with my money.
Yeah, like I just don't understand. Like people try to like go back and church people got to stop doing that. Like if someone has a fee, and if they have qualifications for you to use them, if you don't have the qualifications, you can't use them.
Listen, we all have budgets in life. Just operate with the budget that you in. Just do that.
If you have a budget and you want them to work with you, let them know everything up front.
Right.
Don't trick them and lie to them and then try to put Jesus into it. No, you lied to them.
Right.
You lied to them about what you have.
Right.
About what you can do.
Right. Right.
Be upfront about what's going on so they can choose to say yes or no.
Right.
You not saying anything is lying to them.
Yes. Yes.
You can't now put up, they're being, they're not letting you. No, you're lying to them. You're not being upfront about what you can or cannot do.
Right. You're being difficult. You're making the situation difficult. You're now putting this person in a situation to be hostile with you.
Because sometimes artists will work with you with what you have, but you have to let them know upfront about what's going on.
Right. But you let that lady get on a plane from Atlanta, I think she lives in Atlanta, to Texas, knowing you didn't have her money. And then when she got there, dodged her for hours. And then you gonna hit her with let's pray. If she had smacked you, she wouldn't have been wrong.
You don't get to tell somebody what their value is. They tell you.
Right, exactly. And if you don't have the capacity to accommodate that, then move around.
Yeah. You like if it was 30,000, you give them 15,000. You don't get to say, I gave him 15,000, that's enough. You don't get to say that.
Right.
They determine the value of themselves. Right.
And like she said, she's been doing this long enough to where she's like, I'm not gonna tolerate being disrespected in this way. Like, you know, maybe earlier on in her career, she might have been like, well, I'll still go do the show and try to work it out. But she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like the way she was talking about, she was calling everybody. Like she was talking about how the driver was like employed by him. So she was calling the driver trying to find him. They were trying to call the venue's box office trying to find him. Like no one could find him. She said her musical director like even left the hotel, I think, and went out to the venue to try to see if he was there. So it was like concerted efforts were made to find you, and your phone was going straight to voicemail and you were ignoring her for hours. Like, how do you feel like you can do that knowing knowing that you owe this woman money and then want to hit her with you're a woman of God. Can we pray? Pray about what? My money? Do you have it? Because if you're not here with my money, what are we talking about? Like, I just, wow. I felt really bad for her because I was just like, and the way that people be trying to jerk artists, and Kelly Price is not no like stranger, like some newbie. Not to say that you should do this to a newbie, but what I'm saying is like Kelly Price has been around for a long time. Like, how do you think you're gonna pull a fast one on her like that and think that you're gonna get away with it?
And the funny thing is, many times the artists aren't hurt. You don't hear the artist side of the story many times. Many times people come in like, yeah, I gave this person $15,000 and they didn't come. That's what he was saying. Yeah, he was like, I gave $15,000 and they still didn't come. Right. See, these artists are always trying to get all the money from like that. That's what happened.
And that's exactly the narrative.
And they'll bring up like, they requesting all this stuff that we don't even have. Right. I'm like, so like they'll do that all the time. Yeah. And like.
Yeah, and that's kind of what she was alluding to. She was like, a lot of these situations have gone the other way because there wasn't social media or another avenue for the artists to speak up for themselves and tell the truth about the story.
Yeah, and so now the artist is doing that's difficult. Right. So other people won't book them. Like, that person is difficult.
Right, and it's like, no, you signed a contract saying that you were going to provide X, Y, and Z to me, and you didn't do that. And I'm like, more and more, I completely understand and have respect for Aretha Franklin's policy of you're going to pay me in cash before I hit any stage. If you don't have the money, it's a dub. That's why she always carried her purse everywhere, because she had her money in her purse. She would be on stage in a gown with that leather purse sitting on a bench like, well, RESPCT. She said, I'm not showing up here for you to play games with me. If you don't have my money, you can't afford me.
Like a few gospel artists was like, I don't play with y'all. No, because like a lot of gospel artists, they'll try to like not pay the gospel artists all the time.
Who was it? Jabari Johnson that sang on Try Jesus. He posted about that recently, about how he doesn't go and like he's very selective about the shows he does now because he's been jerked before, where he's been asked to come and play or to perform or to do something, and then when he gets there, they either try not to pay him or they try to pay him less than what they agreed on, and he's like, bruh, I left my family to come here. I've brought my people who also play instruments to come here and play with me, with the understanding that I'm paying them a cut of what I'm getting. So now when you're trying to hit me with the we ain't got it, or we ain't got as much, now you putting me in a funky predicament with these people. So no, actually. And it's like, it's so crazy to me how we as a society and we love entertainment, we love art, we love all of this, but somehow we feel like paying them what they're worth or what they're asking for is outlandish, and that they should just be happy to be invited somewhere. It's like, no, people feed their families doing this. Like, they pay their bills every month doing this.
A lot of people feel as if art should be free,
and it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be.
A lot of times people feel like art should be free in general. Yeah, and I think that's kind of why it's annoying.
Yeah. But I'm really trying to figure out where the money went, because if you were charging people $30, $40 per ticket to come to this event, and it was allegedly a packed house, what did you spend the money on? Where did the money go? What had happened? I'm so confused. So yeah, as we say all that to say, I'm like, maybe there does need to be a real conversation about some kind of union or like group in the music industry dedicated to making sure that artists across the board are treated fairly, or at least have some type of process for redress for situations like this. Because she was like, I don't even see the point in doing a civil suit to try to get my money, because if you don't have my money to give it to me right now, you for damn sure don't have lawyers' fees to go through a civil suit. So I just lost money. It's
I'm not getting money anytime soon.
And so it's like, how do we get to the point where artists don't have to be in that position? Because basically she lost money that she's probably never going to get back. Like, there is no redress, there is no insurance, there is no anything. Like, she just lost whatever that money was, and now she has to figure out how to move around or adjust whatever to accommodate the financial responsibilities that she was hoping this money would cover. So I'm like, yeah, maybe that's something that, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but maybe it's something that, the music industry needs to think about is because that's not fair. That's not fair. I felt very bad for her. Like, I would be pissed if I was her. I would be pissed off. So I can only imagine. And like, the fact that you did that to two artists, like, not to say that it would have been okay to do it to one, but you did it to her and to Lyfe Jennings. Like, come on. These are two people that could have stayed at their house. They didn't have to come outside and do this if he's going to play these games.
Yeah, people play games with artists all the time. That's what I've gathered.
And I'm like, if one of them had swung on you, they wouldn't have been wrong. They would not have been wrong.
Like, I would never doesn't work for an artist if I couldn't. I'm like, nah.
Right, like, just, and there are contracts for a reason. There are things laid out for a reason. So if you can't fulfill the responsibilities, then you need to communicate that. Like, if you knew you didn't have the money, you should have canceled that show. Period. You should have canceled that show. You should have reached out to them and said, you know what? Unfortunately, we didn't sell as many tickets, or whatever it is you want to say, but we're going to have to cancel the show. But you had them fly there knowing that you didn't have their money. Like, what did you think they was going to do? Get to the venue and play? Nah, they're both established artists. They don't need exposure. They don't need to be paid in exposure. They need to be paid in the money that you told them you were going to give them. So, yeah. That was a wild situation. I was just watching like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I would think that Kelly Price is Kelly Price. Like, she shouldn't still be going through stuff like this. But, I guess. I guess. Yeah. Moving on. Versus. There's allegedly a Soulja Boy and Bow Wow versus. Are you interested in watching that? I'm not, personally. I don't know what the date is, but I don't care to watch those two gentlemen in the verses. I was gonna say something very not nice, and I had to double it back.
Honestly, I think it would be hilarious to watch a grown man Bow Wow say "Little Bow Wow." I think that would be hilarious to me. I think him rapping along to "I'm playing basketball." I feel like that would be hilarious to me. I think that would make me laugh hysterically, is seeing him rap to the Little Bow Wow songs.
There's a part of me that would find that enjoyable, but I think social media has made people like insufferable. And so like him on social media and Soulja Boy on social media and on the reality shows he's done, like made them insufferable. Like I cannot stomach the thought of watching them. Mind you, they have songs that are what's the word I'm looking for? Nostalgic as it relates to like my high school, early college years. But just the two of them as people are insufferable. And so I can't imagine.
I do. I would enjoy watching Bow Wow.
If I watch it, it would be with heavy reluctance.
What would be insufferable would be that song with Sierra, which I don't think he's going to do. But
he better not.
That song's insufferable. But outside of that,
I don't want to hear that.
That insufferable song.
I don't want to hear it, so he can move on with that.
But
thank you and good day, sir.
See, hearing Bow Wow rap along to his Little Bow Wow songs would be greatly hilarious as a grown man.
Possibly. We'll see if they announce a date. I don't know.
That would be
I'm
hilarious.
currently not interested in watching, but whatever.
Right, what's next?
The voice of Sebastian from The Little Mermaid, Samuel E. Wright, he passed away this week. Listen, I was hoping maybe he would make his re-up on the new version of The Little Mermaid with what's the girl from Chloe and Halle. She's the new.
I thought that passed away, but I thought that happened already.
The movie? I don't know if it happened yet.
No, the play happened.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, so rest in peace to Samuel E. Wright, legendary voice of Sebastian from the Disney movie, The Little Mermaid. Naomi Osaka, do you know who that is?
Yes.
Yes. Fabulous tennis player, Haitian and Japanese, but I think she plays for Japan. So the French Open is happening right now. If you don't pay attention to tennis, then everything I'm about to say means nothing to you. She basically said, I guess contractually, when they agree to do these big tournaments, they agree to do press. And Naomi said, I'm not doing press at this tournament for my mental health, because I feel like the way the journalists ask questions and the things that are said and just the general overall environment is not conducive to my mental health and staying in a positive place as I'm going into playing matches day after day or whatever the case is. And she got fined $15,000 for not going to the press conference after her first round match, which I believe she won. And, they've kind of told her, well, we're going to keep fining you if you don't go to these press conferences. And the end of their statement said that they feel like her not going to the press conferences gives her an unfair advantage over other players. And I was just like, huh? What unfair advantage is she getting by not sitting at a table with the mic in front of her and talking? Like, I don't understand. I need someone to explain what the unfair advantage is. Like, is she getting a couple hours more sleep? Like, I'm not sure what the unfair advantage is. I understand contracts and I understand all of that. But I also understand that prioritizing one's mental health is important. I feel like she just needs to do a Marshawn Lynch and hit him with the I'm just here so I don't get fined. Just play that game a few times and they will gladly release you from attending press conferences, because no one likes that.
David Diggs is playing Sebastian, by the way.
Oh, yay! I love David Diggs. Yes, he's awesome. Yes, good to know. But my sis Naomi Osaka got to 15K is nothing. But I'm very interested to see how this progresses, because I feel like there are other tennis players who are male and not melanated who have sort of dodged press without all of this fanfare and fines and yada yada yada, but it's whatever. But I'll keep my eye on this, see what happens. So moving to reality TV, so the MAFS Singer finale was last week, and I was right about all three of the top people. I was right.
Let's just go on record. If they don't get a black person on that show as a judge,
because they
do never know.
They be guessing the guesses. I'm just like, no what? Idea. Like Tyrese was on the show. He got eliminated a couple episodes back, but they were saying maybe it's Lionel Richie. I was like, excuse me?
I was like, do you know how Tyrese sounds?
Tyrese has a very distinct sound. Like the minute you hear him, you know it's him.
I was like, if y'all get some black people who
I said, this has to be for the producers.
Who listens to black music.
Yeah, the producers have to be telling y'all to say this, because there's no way you hear Tyrese singing and think, oh, that's Lionel Richie.
Because
ain't no way.
Because like there's certain things like people would be very confused about the who they're talking. I was like, when they had Jamie Foxx. No, not Jamie Foxx. They had Tyrese. Busta Rhymes, Lil Wayne. Even like a lot of the artists. They had one of the older people. Was it Gladys? It wasn't Gladys.
They've had Gladys, Shaka.
It was certain people, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's who it is."
Right, it's very obvious.
It's them. But they're like, "Who is it? I don't know." I was like, if you don't get a black person on this show,
right? Because y'all is looking real unfamiliar with the music landscape right now, and it's upset. It's upsetting me and my homegirls because what is happening?
If you don't pull it together.
Yes, but yes. So the show ended, and I knew the winner was the Piglet, which was Nick Lachey, and I knew it was Nick Lachey when they was up there talking about, oh, maybe it's oh my God, one of the guys from NSYNC. I'm like, no, it's Nick Lachey. Nick Lachey has a very distinctive voice as well. I'm like, no, it is Nick Lachey. The Black Swan was JoJo, which I knew because JoJo sings down. And then the person who came in third was Wiz Khalifa. Yeah. I forget what his character was. But it was very obvious it was Wiz Khalifa if you listen to the voice and you paid attention to the clues. And then the week before, Omarion was the Yeti and he got eliminated. And they were talking about, Omarion was, who did they say? They said he was Marcus Houston. They said he was Neo. I said, do you people listen to music?
Oh no.
Omarion has a very distinctive voice. When you hear him, you know it's him. I was just like, y'all are stressing me out. Like, I cannot do this with y'all. Like, they'll be like, oh yeah, so I'm thinking maybe it's Marcus Houston, maybe it's Neo. What was another one they said? Oh my gosh. I think somebody said Eric Benet or something stupid like that. I said, guys, that is Omarion Granberry. Please get out of my face. Right this minute.
Yeah. And I think Wiz Khalifa was kind of obvious too.
Yeah, Wiz Khalifa was mad obvious. Based on the height and the clues, I was like, oh, that's him. I figured it out in like 2 episodes. I was like, all right, bet. It's Wiz Khalifa. But whatever. But it's an overall very entertaining show. I think Nick Lachey is the first, I was going to say the first man. He's not the first man. He's the first boy bander to win. Because the first season, T-Pain won. Then it was Wayne Brady. Then who won after that? It was it LeAnn Rimes? It was Candy Burris from Escape. Yeah. Then LeAnn Rimes and now Nick Lachey.
I think they're over the black people winning also.
Yeah, they trying to hate on.
Like when I was getting people, I was like, "You gonna take this person out?" I'm like, "Yo, over the black people winning." They're like, "They sound black. Take them off."
Yeah, like what's her name? I thought what's her name was gonna win at one point. The Tamara Mowry.
That's what I said. I was like, "Oh, they're just trying to get the black people out of here."
Wiz Khalifa is the longest lasting rapper though.
Yeah,
because the rappers don't last too long; they get eliminated very quickly. He's the longest lasting rapper that's been on the show so far. So kudos to Mr. Wiz Khalifa. More reality TV, Married at First Sight. That show finally ended. I still feel like all the couples should have broken up. Everyone's lying about the ones who are together, talking about how they're happy. I don't believe them. They're all lying. This season was the worst of the seasons I've seen. Like, that guy Chris is awful, just an awful narcissist. He was on his live like yelling about the show to the point where his neighbors had to like call and be like, bro, you gotta stop making so much noise over here. But he was the worst. He did Paige wrong. It was just no good. The experts talking at the end was very interesting because they were basically like, the person he presented to us and the person he was on the show were not the same. If we had showed him, if he had shown us this, we would never have cast him on the show. And I was just like, dang, I feel bad for the lady. Bad for the lady. But yes, Wayne Brady can sing. But yes, that season went off, thank God. They have a new season coming out in July. And the city they're going to be in is Houston, so I'll be very interested to see. I think they have an Asian couple on there for the first time. I think this is the first time they've had an Asian couple on Married at First Sight. So I'll be very excited to watch this next season starting in July. Real Housewives of Potomac, for my people who like the Real Housewives, Potomac is giving what it's supposed to give, okay? It is. They're a young franchise, but they're giving, okay? The preview came out a couple last week, I want to say, and it looks interesting. I would like to watch this show, especially since Giselle and Jamal Bryant have allegedly broken up / was never together, but they was just going with it for a storyline. Cut it, but it's whatever. It's fine. Whatever. People do strange things for change. So this season looks very interesting. It's coming out July 11th. Can't wait to see it. And then I think, is Insecure coming back this summer? I feel like there's a lot of summer TV that I'm about to get into. So yeah, if y'all looking for some stuff to watch in July, Real Housewives of Potomac and Married at First Sight in Houston are coming back to give you what you need. And I feel like they're putting out another Masked Singer season too. I feel like I remember them saying like another one was coming in a couple of months. So
probably. Yeah,
they're not playing around out here. They're not playing around. So that was it for the, just general random topics I had. Anything else on your agenda?
Just if you haven't listened to it already, listen to Toby Nwigwe Fi.
Yes, it's very.
I've been jamming to it.
It's very, very jam worthy.
Yeah.
See, I'm
extra unique.
Yeah, they make me want to get grills. I know that I wouldn't be comfortable with them in my mouth, but like they make me feel like I want some. Yeah. Maybe when we go to Texas, I'll get some.
You get a grill?
Yeah, when we go to Texas in November.
You're going to Texas in November?
Yeah. Isn't our friend getting married?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he's getting married, and I've never been to Texas, so this is a perfect.
Did your father be down there?
He might be.
Yeah.
He might be. So we might do a link up. Link up.
Well, I gotta find out where it is because I want to see how far it is from your sister and them.
See. Because I think
Texas is big, so it might not be close at all.
He's our friend is in San Antonio, and I think my sister is in Tyler, like Houston, the Houston area. I feel like they might be far from each other.
It sounds a little bit.
Yeah. But anyway, so new music. Okay, so as we mentioned before, DMX Exodus. Go listen to it for yourself. Form your own opinions. See how you feel. You might find like 2 or 3 songs that you really like. So that's out.
Houston and then San Antonio about 3 hours away.
Oh, so we might could see them. We might could not, depending on how much time we have, because 3 hours is far. Mereba, who we had as our featured artist, I think 1 or 2 podcasts ago, she put out her EP Azeb, pretty good. And then for singles, JoJo, our Masked Singer runner-up, has a single out called Creature of Habit. I think she's putting out an album soon. Eminem, Jack Harlow, and Corday, they also have a single out, Killer Remix. Pretty good. I like Jack Harlow. He's a very, very, very eclectic young man, but I like his music. So yeah, that was it for new music. Nothing else has really come out of interest that I would want to suggest anybody else listen to in the last week. So yeah, that's basically it. That's all we got going on over here for this day.
Yeah.
Anything else on your end?
No.
Okay. Well, it's been great. Great discussion, great chat, great times as usual. We're going to head out of here.
We want to get on out of here.
And I think we're under 2 hours again, which is very exciting to me because
look at us.
To them 2, like we've had good podcasts that were 2 hours, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to do no more. I want to keep it under 2 if I can. And I think it says we're at 140 something right now, 141.
Yeah.
If I can see correctly.
Word.
All right. So we're going to pat this thing up and we're going to take it home. We love y'all. We thank y'all so much for rocking with us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Until next time, we bid you adieu. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
It's the All Love, No Fear podcast.
Hey.
It's the All Love, No Fear podcast.
Hey.
Check us out. It's the All Love,